Kathleen Funchion.
Thanks, Lascian Corla. As the education spokesperson for the party, I'm going to limit my remarks mainly to issues and points around the possible impact on education. And I do appreciate to a certain extent we're operating and talking in a vacuum because we don't exactly know what the outcome is going to be yet. And as a lot of people have made the point over the last few days, it does seem to be changing daily now with the possibility even of a second referendum. And the first point I'm going to make is in relation to SUSI, which people will know is the grant system for people attending third level education. And we recently at the Education Committee discussed an amendment which would safeguard students' entitlements to grants north and south of the border should a no-deal Brexit take place, and that's something that I welcome. We obviously need to be very clear on that so that none of the 1,500 students studying in the north of Ireland or in Britain who are currently entitled to SUSI assistance are negatively affected should the circumstances drastically change. Just to say that we are going to be submitting an amendment in relation to that part, in relation to an issue around SUSI that I believe hasn't been addressed. It operates in a rather regimented manner. People who deal with SUSI on a regular basis, I'm sure, will agree. There's very little flexibility regarding rules and guidelines and applications that may be more complex in nature due to a student's circumstance can prove to be a very difficult process. So we've been told by the department that people should not be affected in the event of a no-deal Brexit in relation to the student support scheme. Yet I would be very concerned that the already busy offices of SUSI could potentially be overwhelmed by an influx of queries which the offices are not prepared for. Therefore, one of the things we're going to be suggesting is that there's a specific branch set up within SUSI with additional resources and staff who are up to speed and properly briefed to deal with Brexit-related matters. This is so that students applying for grants for higher-level institutions in either the North or in Britain are accurately and fairly dealt with, and also so that these additional potential queries do not overload SUSI, causing a backlog to all the other kind of general, I suppose, run-of-the-mill applicants that they get on a daily basis. And I think that's important because it can be difficult at times when you are dealing with SUSI just for even a general case. So I think it's important with these queries that there is very specific information and that people are directed to the right channel. I can just foresee a lot of difficulties and issues where we're being told one thing by government, that things are protected, but when people actually phone in themselves that there may be getting different information, there may be a breakdown there. That's why I think it'd be really crucial that we would have a specific branch just to deal with that within SUSI. The other point I want to make is in relation to fees. And a lot of people are talking about, already the potentially negative effects of not knowing exactly where we're going with Brexit. And last September, there was a 20% decrease in applications for Trinity College from the North. Now, I imagine that this is because both students and parents are thinking there's uncertainty around fees. I know that there is a commitment made maybe for this September, but going forward, I mean, you're not going to realistically enrol in college if there's only a commitment in relation to 1 year. I think we need to see that the commitment needs to be for the duration of those students' time in college, like if it's a 3-year degree or a 4-year degree. Just so that we have definite clarification on that. As I say, already last September there was a decrease in applications, so this is obviously going to continue unless there is definite clarity and a commitment on that. The last point I just want to make is just in general, I had the privilege of chairing the Good Friday Agreement Committee here in the Dáil in 2016 and 2017, and I saw when the Brexit was all announced the amount of groups that we met with that were really, really concerned, and the amount of lives that are going to be affected if there was any border or hard border, and just the daily goings on of people, whether it's going to school, whether it's going to work. So we're all obviously hoping for that there is some sort of a deal or some sort of a compromise reached so that we're not having to implement this bill. Thanks, Lascian Corla.